Wednesday the 21st of August 2013. The year is flying by again. Once again I'm down in Kent, North Downs, about to undertake a Charing Circular, which in total is around 12 miles, but there's two combined walks here, 7 and 5 or thereabouts. They're heritage trails, but I'm going to vary them slightly. It's a cracking day, mid-20s today, 23 or 24, bit balmy, some cloud in the sky, chance of some showers later, but hopefully not down here. That was certainly the forecast for London. It's 12 noon. Once again, quite a late start because of the logistics of using a network card, but not to worry. Got about 7 hours, 8 hours before sunset. 8 hours at the moment actually. So let's get cracking. 2 minutes in and we're walking parallel to the railway line up on my left here. Some of the scenery after just a few minutes into the walk, filled full of thistle heads here, which are starting to fly everywhere. That dove singing in the background is always a good sign of a peaceful area. Should say cooing. Now passing under the railway line, then cross over a stile and a stream here, which actually has water in it. That won't be the case if fracking goes ahead though. Very little considered argument this, the amount of water. I think I heard someone say, that arrested MP, that it takes 20,000 litres of water for one frack. Clearly that's going to upset the farmers, and it'll upset me. Some sheep over there sensibly taking refuge from the midday sun. Just about to walk through some trees as mentioned in the text, and there's a footpath diversion notice here, dated October 2011, so whether it's still relevant or not I'm not sure. We'll soon find out. Anyway, that's my onward journey per the text. Part of the heritage of this area is sand pits. There's the first of our sand pits today. Heavy plant crossing, as indicated by this notice down here. So this section of the walk in heritage terms is all about purlins and piquets. P-I-Q-U-E-T-S. You can Google that and read all about these down near Charing in Kent, or of course read the leaflet that I'm using today on the North Downs Way website. Once again, very easy walking, grassy path underfoot, but again revealing the exact problem I just mentioned about water. Look at the crack in here. There'll be more of that with fracking. So on my right you've got Spring Wood, and this is an ancient forest, as you can see by its ramshackled nature. It's good to see, although some would disagree and say that it needs coppicing to allow other plants and shrubs to grow underneath. Whilst on the left you have this very active sand quarry. Interesting the way they've grassed over once they finished with the sand. By all accounts, this sand, as you'd imagine in this area, is part of the green sand ridge. The turning to the right mentioned in the text is not very clear, but I'm assuming it's here. This path on my right. Should see a modern barn shortly after this. There's the modern barn referred to in the text ahead of me there. And on my left, further quarry workings. Quite a scar at the moment, but hopefully that'll be replanted in years to come. If I ever come back down here, hopefully I will be down here soon. Interestingly, the text says walk past the barn and come to a road. There's an arrow to the right here with another arrow line on that post on the ground. But this does look like a recent diversion. Maybe that's the diversion that was referred to on that poster earlier. Let's see what happens here. Here we come out at Toll Lodge Farm, so called because toll making used to be part of the heritage here. Windmill Lane, referred to in the text, and immediately opposite in the hedge there is the stile that we cross. Across the stile you're encountering thick undergrowth. There's a slight turning left hidden in the undergrowth, and one to the right hidden in the undergrowth. Apparently the stiles either way. We take the right hand one, which the farmer has clearly left open for us. Over the brow there should be some farm buildings. Scenery from the brow of the hill, which is around 100 metres high. Fields have already been cut. There's the farm buildings referred to. Doesn't take long. In a week, they just started a week ago down here when I was at Hollingbourne. Massive progress made in that week. Yeah, green woodpecker there. Modern grain silos here, I believe, are actually in use at the moment, drying out damp grain. That's why they're able to cut pretty much all the time now. Next to a more traditional building, which looks like it might have been a mill at some point. Top half's missing. Some debate over there as to what that ruin is. Believed to be a former chapel. Railway line over there in the distance. Just about to cross over a footbridge over a small stream. This is the view back towards the railway line. Row of poplars there. Back at that row of poplars, willows. What a lovely sight that is as the wind blows them silver. Great sight. Very easily missed stile here on the right, having crossed the field diagonally behind me. So, first church of the day, this one being at Charing Heath, and as per usual, very interesting architecturally. There you go, Holy Trinity, Charing Heath. Cream tea's advertised there in the summer months. Not sure what days that is, or whether it's daily, between 2 and 5. And a very pleasant little church it is inside as well. It's 1:30 now, so I'll soon find out if the cream teas are daily. I plan to have my lunch here somewhere. No benches visible outside. And as usual with these old Anglican churches, which I'm assuming it is, you've got the schoolhouse just behind it. In this case the old schoolhouse, which is now a residence. And I've found one bench. That's all I can find. That's all I need today. Donated by Doreen Ivy Lungley. Can hear the noisy M20 in the distance. In fact, it may well be the high-speed train passing, because that runs parallel to the M20. So, as I say, about 1:30, lunch is served amongst these poor souls. It's in the shade as well, this seat, so that's good timing. Alternatively, the storm porch is available as the door is open. 2 o'clock, lunch has been had, and here's the church from another angle. I'll go and check in a second to see if there's any cream teas being served, though I haven't got time to partake myself, unfortunately, today. This is outrageous, Kent County Council. There's meant to be a footpath here next to this small orchard, but where is it? Completely impassable. Just on the fringe, just on the same lane as the church, if anyone's interested. Opposite a property called Churchill Cottage. Just a couple of minutes down from the church, where I ate, you've got the Red Lion, Shepherd Neame pub, and it serves food, as you can see there, 12 till 3. So that's a lunchtime possibility. Sunday roast from £5.95, so seems reasonable. There's a garden area to the rear, with a small farm at the back by the looks of it. Looking back at Forge House across Forge Field, and as you can see, the old pub's not too far distant either. Information panel here about Hurst Wood, which is half ancient woodland and half newly planted. It was moved to make way for the M20 in the 80s, and then a few more acres were shaved off for the Eurotunnel link in the 90s, but they transplanted that section, so some of it is now here. Moved it north into what used to be Hurst Meadow. Some woodland architecture. A potential picnic site for 6 people. Walking alongside a clearing next to Hurst Wood. I like the way that property in the distance there has cut down its hedge and fence to give the effect that this green is part of its garden. It's not as far as I can tell, but certainly a nice impression. Just shows how close we are to the Channel Tunnel Link high-speed train. This view from Hurst Lane still. Okay, there's a path down there which eventually ends up at Coppins Corner past Newlands Stud on the map. I'm going to bear that in mind for future use, just in case this official way through Newlands area turns out to be a bit unscenic and noisy and busy. Soon find out. The route to Coppins Corner would cut across those fields over yonder and end up by those houses, which I believe is Coppins Corner. As you can hear, the M20 is pretty noisy even here. So, still on the official route, the road route, which is quite quiet, I must admit. I haven't come across any cars yet. Oh, on my left, just passing a former sandworks, which is how the one we saw this morning will end up, hopefully. Plenty of trees in it, taking over now. Walking down what is known as the Lost Highway. Used to be the main road to Maidstone, incredibly, and it's actually shut at the moment for 5 days to traffic, that is, so shouldn't encounter any, and would normally be pretty quiet anyway. Just by this Southern Water pumping station is where the footpath across the fields would have come out, over by what looks to be a larger station over there. And as I say, the road route isn't too bad, so our onward journey now is immediately opposite, up there somewhere. Once again, Kent County's council do not seem to be doing much footpath maintenance at the moment. This footpath is pretty overgrown as well. It's amongst some of the worst I've come across in recent weeks. And Kent is a Tory council, so not sure why they're not maintaining their footpaths. Now walking through two very poisonous species, ragwort and giant hogweed. Just behind that sedge there's a green woodpecker. Just see his red head bobbing up and down. Probably eating ants. One of their favourite foods. Very difficult to film them because they're very shy. There were 3 or 4 down there a second ago, but I've just managed to catch this one. Well, some of him. There's a better shot. Look how well camouflaged he is apart from his red head. This is maximum range now, so clearly the zoom lens is okay again. He is enjoying that. I think it's an immature one, not fully fledged yet, which is probably why he's a bit bolder than the others. Hasn't learnt his lesson. Spending quite a bit of time filming him because it's not often you get these shots. Fantastic. I've got to disturb him now because I need to press on. At this juncture we rejoin the walk that we started this morning to complete the circular. I shall go now on to the marketplace where the walk actually begins and then do the second walk. Someone with a sense of humour here. Not too happy at getting dogs messing outside their front gate. Walking up Charing High Street. Very patriotic it is. So there's the church of St Peter and St Paul in the marketplace, Charing, as you can see. 3:30, so it's going to be a late finish today, seeing as I've got about another 7 miles to do. Okay, so that walk is finished, walk 1. Now proceed on to walk 2, which is unusual for me, in that I'm doing the 2 walks in the one day. But I did do that last week in Hollingbourne, truth be told. So that was a lovely 6.5 miler per my mobile phone Map My Hike recorder. Let's press on. So the second circular today around Charing starts here at this church, Church of St Peter and St Paul, Charing, Diocese of Canterbury, as you'd probably imagine. It's around well, it's in fact 20 to 4 now. Got about 6.5 miles to do officially. Got a game of football to listen to tonight as well. Arsenal's efforts in Europe. So let's press on. The church from another angle. And notice it's got a sundial as well. Which is pretty handy in this weather. And as you can see, 20 to 4 by that as well, interestingly. Technology, eh? Charing Hill over there with its windmill, which I do believe will be passing later. Okay, quite clearly there should be a footpath, 2 footpaths here. I can't see any way of getting across these fields, it's full of electric fences. Okay, I've just spoken to the owner, or somebody that knows about these fences, and he wasn't very helpful at all. Sign up there saying horses bite. Now walking alongside the railway again, and I think I'll cut out this last section because it actually goes, as you can see there, alongside a busy A road, and doesn't add anything to the walk, so I think I'll cut that out, reroute it next time. Now walking towards Woodland Manor, as marked on the map. Those lovely willows again. Just showing there, the footpath here is clearly marked across this field. It's amazing how different farmers have different attitudes. I will report that to Kent County Council and their unkempt footpaths as well. Walking around the edges of Woodland Moat, a moat that is still intact apparently. Can't see much today, but the other side of this hedge there's a 4-sided moat. I've actually got into the woodland now, and as you can see, what a fantastic fungus that is. Just walking along this path inside the wood. going to cross over this footbridge here. Here's remnants of the moat. Now walking up Wicken Lane, an unmetalled hollow road. Was never adopted as a road, but in years gone by it used to be such. Really does give you some idea of what it would have been like travelling in the country lanes a century or so ago, before roads were tarmacked. Quite quaint, yeah. Highwaymen jumping out of the hedges. That yellow lorry is depositing human excrement, I believe, on the fields, because it didn't have smell over there. That's where I think I would continue to walk from next time, avoiding the section I've just done. Or possibly walk past Pet's Place Farm over there. The people that have caused the diversion over those via those electric fences. Anyway, a little diversion will be necessary here. This field could be problematical in the winter months. I can see it being very muddy. So the route via Pet's Place Farm would be a good one. Now joining the North Downs Way again, as you can see. Hope you can make that out, but that's quite ingenious. There's a thatched property there. Clearly they can't have solar panels in the roof, so they've erected some kind of little shed in the garden on the right there to take the panels and thus send the power through. See, that's what we should be doing, never mind fracking. And then shortly we're going to be coming up to the windmill. Far more attractive than the wind turbines. Not very clearly signposted, but this is the continuation of the North Downs Way here. All the signs are either hidden or in the hedge here. There's the sign in the undergrowth. Once again, poor maintenance by Kent County Council. And there's the Pilgrim's Way sign there, fallen down in the stinging nettles. It's an absolutely atrocious performance by Kent County Council. I haven't worked out what the difference is between the red and the yellow symbol yet, but I do believe my onward journey is the yellow symbol in this case. Not straight ahead by the old pump house, but up this steep incline. Well, by taking this slight detour, and it is a detour, I've ended up by Charing Windmill, and that's quite a view back that you get from it. It's a 19th century grade 2 listed building, about 175 metres up here. Looks like it's now somebody's residence. Okay, I'm stood near the 191 metre spot height mark on the map. Shouldn't be on this bit of the walk anyway, but what a great view you get, albeit hazy down there. You can see the South Downs in the distance. Won't go too far right because the sun's over that way. What a lovely afternoon. Around 5:30 now. Wind's picking up, as you may be able to hear. Another footpath that's impassable. Just beyond the 191 metre spot height mark. There's no way you're going to get through this. Next to this first property here on my left is where the footpath I couldn't get through a minute ago would have come out. Clearly not maintained or marked, signposted at all. 4:45 and I've just reached the Bowl public house, which could be on a circular walk. That would be about 2 hours, 2:15 hours in. Could be a suitable lunchtime stop if I do the walk as I've done it today. Not sure I would though, because the road I've just walked up is pretty busy, albeit it's a B road. Opens at noon, serve food. It's got quite a large garden at the back here, not many tables in it though. A local pub dating back to 1512. It's amazing what difference a week makes. Some fields have been cut, ploughed and manured already, whilst others haven't been cut yet. We're now entering into woodland next to this appropriately named entrance to a property called Tanglewood. Not sure you can read that. I think you can. Amazing how still and dark it is in here, even though it's only 6 o'clock after all that road walking in the sunshine. Not much bird song though. Just that great tit I think it is in the background. Looking down at Charing Hill and beyond, there's its church. Now if I'm not mistaken, in the very distance that has got to be the cooling towers at Dungeness. Just one second. There you go. I can't think what else that is. Way over there across Romney Marshes. That's a hell of a distance away. But I can only think that's what it is. Excuse the rocking. So across the Weald there. Over on my left, you've got the Windmill again from another angle. This walk does need some jiggling around. As it is, it's not really a goer for downlanders, but I will amend it. So there you go. Even better views this side of the hedge. (6:20). Getting a bit grey now as the evening disappears. Just coming back into Charing Hill. Rejoin the North Downs Way here. So back on the North Downs Way again. Walking down the High Street and a GR post box here. Nice Tudor looking building. Probably is actually. Interesting thing about this high street in Charing is that there's a lot of private residences in it. Good to see. A good example was originally a shop, it says somewhere over there on that plaque. Saves me crossing the road anyway. Here we have an official historic building of Kent. A little bit of history there. There she blows. A bit ramshackled and tipping over, but there you go. Old building. So here we are back at Charing. It's 7:15. Just in time for the 3 minutes to 7 train. So, the second part of my walk was 7.9 miles. Took me 3 hours. Got lost a couple of times. Had to look at stuff a lot, so quite a slow pace. 23 minutes per mile, I believe. Anyway, not too sure about walk B. As I said earlier in the film, it will need some rejigging to feature on the Downlanders walks, but I will do that at some point because I think it's got potential over that way. Anyway, good day's walking. Didn't rain in the end, although I do think it's coming. Might be some showers tomorrow. Now I'll get home for the second half of the Arsenal game. See how they get on.